Boil them cabbage down, boy, to bake old cake brown. The only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down.
Okay, I've got my marker. Wasn't where it's supposed to be, but now I have it. One more for today. Another big changes in Earth theme. The muscles to molecule one we did, where the whole way energy works on Earth changed. And now I'm going to do one that's a little more ambiguous about cause and effect. Shouldn't take long. All right, so that's the invention of agriculture. You probably had plenty of time to look at that while some music that I haven't identified yet played, hopefully. All right, this one goes back further into time. When we're talking about muscles to molecules, essentially we're talking about calendar years after the Dark Ages for all intents and purposes, although we're going to go way back in time, 400,000 years or so, and think about agriculture. Of course, there wasn't agriculture back then, but Earth did have a temperature, and time did go on. And this is roughly there's a record of Earth's, not exactly of Earth's temperature, but we've backed Earth's temperature out of it, so. Trust the geochemists, everything's fine. Basically, it's the history of the glaciers. It was warm, and then it was cold, and then it got warm suddenly, and then it cooled off. And it got warm, and then it cooled off. How many of those are there? That's 3. It got warm, and then it cooled off. It got warm, and it didn't cool off. So this is about 400,000 years. Right around in here is 315K years, and roughly in there, somewhere in here, Homo sapiens evolved. So that 250K number I used in the earlier video wasn't quite on the money. And lots of things happen. The glaciers come and go. And then somewhere in about here, well, let's put the time, 10,000 years, the glaciers stopped. The driftless region of Wisconsin is the place where the glaciers didn't get to. Madison isn't quite in the driftless. But by about 10,000 years, the driftless was safe and sound. And at about that time, humans invent agriculture. All right. So that's a very brief history of humans and agriculture, so let's think about a little bit about what food consumption for humans looked like over this same time period. So the same time period, only now we're going to talk about calories per person. Calories per person. And there weren't a whole lot of people around then, and particularly we're going to say people didn't start till Homo sapiens started, so this part of the graph is all blank. Somewhere in here is calories per person. And if we say that hunting and gathering technology didn't really change that much over time, for a long time, the calories per person didn't change. Here's our 10K period. Here's our 315K. So and nasty, brutish, and short was definitely the rule. But around the time, when we've invented agriculture, calories per human starts going up. And life gets better. And there's a whole anthropological story about the importance of the invention of agriculture, but certainly being able to produce our own food and engineer that was important. So let's draw a little causal loop. Well, yeah, the loop part is the tricky bit. So basically, the explanation in climate science and, as I was taught, anthropology, is that this relatively stable, so it's not doing this anymore, it's just doing this. So climate stability and calories per person were related, that basically climate stability in some sense caused more calories per person. Now, this, I'm pretty sure that's, well, actually, I've done the bad thing. I've left something out. Agriculture. Agriculture. As climate becomes more stable, agriculture, we'll call it productivity, stretching things a bit here, goes up, calories per person goes up. Now, there's no loop. It's clear that climate stability and agriculture being invented, are correlated. It has been suggested that, in fact, perhaps the causality goes the other way. Certainly, the more, the better story is that climate stability leads to the invention of agriculture, which leads to more calories per person, which perhaps leads to economic activity, going up, which perhaps anyway, that could be the case as economic activity, climate stability goes down, and then do we destroy agriculture in that loop? Let's just put a great big question mark in there. The thing I would encourage you to take away from this is that much. The Earth system changes in a fundamental way from this cycling, and human activity changes in a fundamental way, and it's likely that the causal relationship goes that way. So anyway, again, the point here is that natural systems and human systems are interconnected in ways that we don't always understand and that can be surprising. Alrighty. that's my little story about the invention of agriculture.